Imagine a handful of cities quietly steering the flow of money that shapes the lives of billions. These are the world's financial centers, hubs where capital, information, and power converge. Understanding them tells us who wins and who loses in the global economy. At their core, financial centers are marketplaces for capital, risk, and trust. They exist because of history, geography, politics, and sometimes sheer luck. Their rise tells stories of empires, wars, innovation, and migration of talent and capital. Let's start with New York, the financial titan born from trade and transformed by industry. New York grew from colonial trade to an industrial powerhouse in the 19th century. The founding of the New York Stock Exchange after the Buttonwood Agreement centralized capital flows. Wall Street's rise was accelerated by the railroad boom, mass immigration, and the Industrial Revolution. By the 20th century, New York hosted global banks, insurance giants, and thriving capital markets. Today, New York commands global finance through equity markets, investment banking, and asset management. Its influence is cultural as well as financial, shaping regulation, media, and global investment trends. Across the Atlantic, London emerged from empire and trade to become Europe's financial heart. London's geography on Atlantic trade routes turned it into a hub for shipping, insurance, and commerce. The City of London's unique legal and financial institutions, like the Bank of England, built trust and stability. Britain's imperial reach and the pound's dominance in the 19th century made London the center of global finance. Even after decolonization, London retained strengths, time zone advantage, legal certainty, and the city ecosystem. Next, Hong Kong rose as China's gateway, shaped by colonial trade and later by global finance. Its deep harbor and open trade policy under British rule made it a natural financial entrepot. After 1970s reforms and China's opening, Hong Kong became the prime channel for capital flowing into and out of China. Its industries include equity listings, IPOs, offshore banking, and international trade finance. Singapore is the Asian hub built on rule of law, strategic location, and deliberate policymaking. From a trading port, it evolved into a global wealth management, forex, and commodity trading center. Its pro-business regulation, low taxes, and connectivity attract multinationals and private capital. Tokyo became a financial giant through rapid industrialization and post-war economic miracle. Japan's keiretsu system, manufacturing strength, and domestic savings fueled capital markets in the 20th century. Tokyo's financial institutions dominated equities and corporate finance for decades. Shanghai's rise reflects China's economic transformation and strategic opening since the 1990s. From a treaty port in the 19th century to a modern megacity, Shanghai rebuilt itself into a financial powerhouse. Shanghai now hosts local exchanges, fintech innovation, and increasingly international capital flows. Dubai is a newer center, leveraging location, ambitious infrastructure, and tax-friendly policies. It transformed from oil revenues to a diversified hub for trade, private banking, and Islamic finance. Dubai's free zones and regulatory incentives have made it a gateway between East and West. Zurich and other Swiss centers built reputations on banking secrecy, stability, and private wealth services. Swiss neutrality, sound governance, and strong legal protections attracted global assets over centuries. Today, Zurich excels in private banking, wealth management, and specialized financial services. Across all these cities, a few common themes emerge: connectivity, rule of law, talent, and infrastructure. Major turning points often include wars, regulatory changes, technological shifts, and crises that reshape markets. Technologies like telegraph, cables, electronic trading, and fintech rearranged who leads and how quickly. Globalization and deregulation expanded capital mobility, but also concentrated risk in hubs. Competition between centers is constant. Advantages shift with policy, stability, and innovation. New challenges can emerge when technology lowers barriers and new rules favor different models. Cities like Frankfurt, Toronto, and Sydney show regional strength and resilience in shifting landscapes. Fintech hubs and remote work could dilute concentration, but trust and legal frameworks still favor established centers. Climate risk, political shifts, and digital currencies will be major forces shaping the next decades. The resilience of a financial center depends on adaptability, transparency, and the quality of institutions. Power in finance is not just size, but the ability to set rules, prices, and expectations worldwide. So who wins the future? No single city will dominate forever, but a network of resilient hubs will lead. Emerging centers will succeed if they combine regulatory clarity, tech talent, capital, and geopolitical stability. Investors and policymakers watch these centers closely because their decisions ripple across economies and lives. The history of financial centers is a story of adaptation under pressure and opportunity seized at the right moment. As capital flows faster and borders feel more porous, the character of these hubs will evolve in unexpected ways. What remains clear is that cities are where money, ideas, and policy meet to shape our shared future. Understanding them helps us grasp who benefits from globalization and how to build more inclusive systems. The world's biggest financial centers are monuments to history and laboratories for the future of money. Their stories remind us that power in finance is earned, contested, and always in motion. The next chapter is unwritten, and new centers could rise if they master trust, talent, and technology. Which cities will shape the world next will depend on choices made in boardrooms, parliaments, and labs today. That is the story of financial centers, where history meets opportunity and where the rules of wealth are written and rewritten.